Well, hello everybody. Happy New Year. Happy everything that's going on in your world and your life. This is Dave Stevens, and I'm happy to be here on a very special night of the Gary Stein and Stevens show. I'm on the road for New Year's, but I'm happy to be here with my cohort. So let me bring in my brothers from the other state around the nation, and mostly of Minnesota. It's the only other state that we have in the show. But Troy Geary, Will Stein, Happy New Year, happy holidays. I hope you guys had a great Christmas and Kwanzaa and Hanukkah and all those good things. And it's great to see the three of us together. Troy, first off, how are you doing, brother?
I'm doing great, Dave. I'm glad we got to this best of show tonight and get excited for the 2023 events we got coming up.
Yeah, we are going to talk about all those kind of things tonight. And of course, Will joining us tonight. It's good you have back on the show. Will, how are you? And how is Minneapolis? You guys still a buzz of what those Vikings are doing?
Well, the Vikings just continue to surprise me. I've been pleasantly surprised with their season this season. It's been a great 2022, and I look forward to the growth of what 23 has in store for us. Hopefully, a Super Bowl champion for our Minnesota Vikings in like a month.
And it would be nice, of course, as you can see in the bottom of the screen, we will be at the Super Bowl. We have been given our credentials given to us by the NFL again, and so we got a big contingent. We're coming down, Troy and I think Will be down there, and we'll have Ability Media from Quinnipiac University, and we're also working with veterans BJ Ganem, who's been a guest on our show from Sierra Delta, and we're putting together Vets Bowl One, and I'm putting together a sports camp for disabled kids that will be out there, Troy and everybody out there. So a lot of things to talk about, but most of this special tonight, we are live out there. So everybody that's out there, we can say hi. If you're listening to this on the podcast, then we are not live, but we are going to do our best tonight to try to give you the best of our show. We've had some amazing guests. I mean, there's too many to list. We couldn't put all the clips together, but we really have been lucky to have stars from the NFL, the NBA, the NHL, entertainment, singers, comedians. I mean, you can see over my shoulder, Lydia Cornell was one of the funner shows that we had a chance to do with. And right out of the gate, I want to play a little bit of some of the best. For you radio listeners and your podcast listeners, we'll start off with Marty Cordova, former Minnesota Twin and other MLB teams that he was with, also Rookie of the Year, followed by Ryan Ripken, who kind of retired on our show from baseball. He's the son of legendary Cal Ripken, and we'll wrap that up with legendary super agent Lee Steinberg. So take a listen to the best of Gary Stein and Stevens. That's what tonight's hour is all about.
Like for him, when you were around him in '96 and you exploded with your statistics, but Puck was with you guys but wasn't playing. What was that like to go through to watch one of the greatest players demise overnight?
Yeah, it was sad. It was really sad because he still had a lot of years ahead of him. And I remember he came in spring training and he had said he started seeing like a black dot in his eye, which kept growing. And I can't imagine the fear of somebody. It's one thing to lose your eye, and we can all live without an eye. But if you're an athlete at the top of your profession, like he was, and still in his prime, that's scary to feel like my career could be ending. And then they said it was glaucoma, and a lot of people, Sid was saying that it might have been Dennis Martinez hit him in the mouth at the very last at bat of the last season, but that really had nothing at all to do with it. But people didn't know, and everybody was obviously very concerned. And it was disheartening to see a guy like that just kind of, you could see his whole future just pulled away from him. And he embraced it. He took it as best he could, and he was going to be a part of it.
Your father had the Iron Man, as far as playing in consecutive games. How tough was that mentally and emotionally for you to be Ryan Ripken and to have injuries and be breaking down and everybody go, oh, you're not like your dad, but like they don't understand the game. So what was that like for you to have everybody go, you're not playing every game and you don't have streaks and those kind of things? I can't even imagine how bad that would have sucked, honestly.
Yeah, I would love to have the career that my dad had, but I'd like to say a lot of people would want to have the career that he had. He was the one of 1% that had all this success. And that that's something that it reminds you that baseball is so hard, regardless of who your family is or what they've accomplished. And so for me, I came to peace with, especially after the injuries, and actually when my career when I was let go by the Nationals and I came to the Orioles, and it was a big reset. Was understanding that I am my own person. I'm not out here to prove anything to anybody else but to myself. And what I've told you too, Dave, that if people are not going to like me, I want them to not like me for being Ryan, but for all the perceptions and the expectations, that weighed on me. But as soon as I said, you know what, I'm Ryan, that's all I want to be. You remember that that's what the most important thing in life is.
You've been outspoken about the Rooney Rule. What do you think needs to be done about that, and how can they change it so that more people actually get opportunity and it's not just a formality?
Well, I think the first key is to create a pool at a younger age of minority executives for front office positions and coaches, and to make that pool as broad as possible. In the same way that when it came time to lift the prejudice towards blacks playing quarterbacks, we needed to have blacks athletes in high school and college doing it. So we need a greater pool and to stimulate it at an earlier age. And then we have to make sure that they get opportunities. So the way that head coaches get hired is from the coordinators from the best and winning teams.
Yeah, so that's the legendary Lee Steinberg, who was a part of our show, one of our more popular shows. And Troy, from some of the insights that we've seen at these athletes, we've had Hugh Jackson on, we've had all these people that can talk about the controversies. What have been some of your thoughts and reflections on those guests?
Yeah, it was great having Hugh Jackson on right before the season started. Of course, he's the head coach now at Grambling State, and we asked him the same kind of question, and he was, kind of danced around a little bit because of some prior litigation with the NFL. But I believe that that was a good show, and of course, we talked to Lee about the same thing, and he had similar thoughts about the Rooney Rule, and actually even Leon Searcy, we talked to him about that too. So. Yeah, it's not as many opportunities as other races, and hopefully that will change here soon. Can't hear you, Dave.
Will, you've been a part of this, and you've seen, these guys kind of open up. Does it shock you how much they kind of open up to us and some of the revelations you've heard from our guests?
So with seeing the pioneer of black head coaches in football, you have to go back to Dennis Green when he accepted the Vikings job in 1992. And I think showing the success that Dennis Green had showed what other people can lead. He was the pioneer of that. And just listening to what other people have talked to us about what they've had on the inside, it gives us that different perspective on when it goes through the interview process, when it goes through the process of just being involved in the game of football. There's a lot of stuff that we don't see on the public eye that they've opened up to us about, and I just think that's really interesting with some of the information.
And it was really, I mean,
shared with us.
And Lee really gave us some insight, and he didn't hold back as far as what his thoughts were on the Rooney Rule and everything. And now we've even seen it with interim coaches. Jeff Saturday being given the job in Indianapolis, and they're saying you didn't go through the proper procedures to get a coach. You just picked somebody literally off the air at ESPN. So, and speaking of that, we had Mark Schlereth on recently to talk. Who moved on from ESPN to Fox. So we have been so lucky and blessed to have some amazing guests, and we're going to continue to try to do that for the 2023. I know we've got some other guests lined up. Jack Edwards, former ESPN anchor and now current broadcaster of the Bruins, is going to join us. Matt Doherty is going to come up, and of course, a lot of our old friends along the way. They're going to join us at Radio Row in Arizona, and I'm really excited for that. But we're going to take a little break here, and since it's still the holidays, I can milk a couple of these special Christmas edition of the commercials that we did. So stay with us. You are watching Geary, Stein, and Stevens. Don't go away.
Ho, ho, ho! Happy holidays! I'm Santa Dave from the Gary Stein and Stevens Show, and I'm getting ready to give all the good boys and girls Manscaped products, except there's one problem.
The problem is you can't keep Manscaped on the shelves in the stores. So go to manscaped.com, type in the code GSS Show, save 20%, and get the Manscaped products. And poof, overnight, we've got Manscaped products. How cool is that? That means that by popular demand, they had to fill these shelves, all of the amazing products from Manscaped. And as I said, you get 20% off using the code GSS Show. You don't have to come to the store. Go online to manscaped.com. Put in the code GSS Show, and you can get all of the amazing Manscaped products. Hi again, everybody. Dave Stevens from the Gary Stein and Stevens Show. And I'm on the road a lot covering professional teams like the Philadelphia Eagles here in this beautiful stadium, but I don't have a lot of time to eat. What I do use, though, is Athletic Greens 1. It's a great supplement that you can use every day to get that nutrition that you're missing. And you know what? If you're drinking those energy drinks, those monster drinks, those add up where this costs just $3 a day. It's got over 75 vitamins and nutrients in it that it would take you so many pills and bottles to take. But it's all right here. You just put a couple of scoops in with the water. You mix it up with either lemon juice or what I like to use with frozen fruit. It tastes great. It makes you feel good. And, of course, it is going to make you live life better. So, Athletic Greens 1. If you want more information, go to athleticgreens.com/GSS. They'll give you a year's supply of vitamin D if you go to that website. So continue to follow Steven Stein and Gary, or Gary Stein and Stevens, wherever you go, but make sure you're taking Athletic Greens 1.
Welcome back to this. What the heck here, of course. Only on a live show. Gary Stein and Stevens, second segment here, just talking about an amazing season, amazing first half of the year that we've had. And I'll put you on the spot, Will. I want to ask you, what is your favorite moment of the year? What have you enjoyed most about Gary Stein and Stevens?
You did. My favorite moment is when you asked to be a part of it, and it made the show that much stronger. I appreciate everything that you've taught me and what you've taught Troy and the adventures we've been on together. I can only hope that things improve and we can continue to grow together as a team and as a show in 2023. It's been an amazing ride, and it can only get better from here.
And it has been fun. Troy, Will had his ideas about what his favorite ones were. Tell me what your thoughts are on some of your favorite segments.
One of my favorite guests was Linda Cohn. Like I said, I've been watching her for the last 20 some years, and it was great that you were be able to use your past friendship with her to get her on. And BJ Armstrong was another great one. Very intelligent man, not just a basketball player and an agent. He was a great guest. So like I said, there's so many good ones we've had. They're just going to keep getting better and better, and it's been fun.
Yeah, BJ was shockingly fun, and we'll have a little bit of him later in the show. And as you alluded to, Linda Cohn joined us. We had a couple of ESPN people, and that brings us to our next best of for Gary Stein and Stevens of 2022. We've got Neil Everett with a special guest appearance by Kenny Mayne, who surprised him, Linda Cohn, and the legendary female pitcher Isla Borders, the very first female pitcher ever to appear in a professional men's game, getting a win for the St. Paul Saints. And again, she opened up a lot as far as what her life was like, death threats and everything. And so let's listen to these amazing segments.
Kenny Mayne joining us for a couple minutes, also out in California. Kenny, thanks for stopping by. Your memories of Neil Everett?
What a dick. Really. Mean to like the janitor and treated the PAs just talked down, and he was one of the least liked people at ESPN. Always. No. Neil's.
What are you using, an ESPN phone?
I can hold it sideways. I was going top and down. Here, we'll go sideways. Boom. How's that?
That's all right. Our podcast
My
listeners don't know anyway, but
grandpa has joined the chat.
I work with him on a Saturday night at 2 a.m. Eastern. There he is on cue. It was a half hour, just 30 minutes. But my goal was not to screw anything up and just kind of look happy and all that. And I sure was. And what do I guess, what was your first part of the question about what am I most proud of? I got it. The fact that I could have kids, raise a family at the same time of living out my dream and, playing the role of a sports center anchor and a reporter, when honestly, guys, I mean, it was just so natural for me because I'm a fan first, and that's how I feel why I lasted this long. I connect to the viewer that way because they're all fans. And when I first got the job at ESPN, I was like, that's what I want to show people, that I'm just like them. Because the people that watched ESPN, especially in the old days, my goodness, they're all fanatics like me. And that's why I wanted to always prove to them that this is where I want to be. And I'm just like them.
but
Crazy.
you shouldn't have death threats playing baseball. I mean, what is that like? Did they take them serious? And I mean, what was your mindset going out there, coming to the locker room, coming to the ballpark, leaving the ballpark, going out to dinner? I mean, that's got to be scary.
Yeah, it was scary when I showed up it was a hotel, and there were two men in my room when I opened up the door. That's when I was like, okay, maybe I should take these death threats a little bit more seriously, I would read them and look at that and it'd affect me, but I'm like, who's going to do that? But then I would, get done with the game, go to my hotel room, and then there were these two guys in my hotel room, and then there were more people that are following me to where when we got to the hotel room, the guys would open it up and check everything out first before I would actually go in. And so then I was like, okay, I really need to start watching myself a little bit. And we don't have security in minor league ball, and I didn't want to make a big deal. It's that whole thing again. Like, I just want to go out there and play. I want to show that I'm not trying to make a big deal. I don't care about the media. I just want to be a really good teammate. I want to win. I'm super competitive. I'm still competitive. And that's my main thing. I want to win. I want to contribute and I want to be a good teammate. And I think at first the guys were like, oh, what is she doing? Why does she have an agenda? And then as soon as I started playing with them, they're like, oh, no, she's cool. This is Isla. She just wants to play. And then I just had to get over that hurdle at first. And then I was fine. And then they're like, wow, she's going through a lot. How can we help her?
Can't hear you, Dave.
Here we go. That's again when we're live. I was just saying how it's awesome, that these people open up to us and we feel like they're our friends and they tell us things that, Isla talked about her sexuality and how she had to hide that when she was playing, and in this day and age, it's a whole different era. So, and I know, you got us Joey Browner, and that was such an excellent show. And Joey actually, after that appearance on our show, got attacked. Do you have an update? I know you saw him recently at an event. If you could tell us how our buddy Joey's doing.
Yeah, about a month after we had him on the show, he had somebody show up to his door. It was basically a home invasion. They hit him a couple times with a gun. Yeah, he was in the hospital for about 4 days, he said, and he's feeling better. He was a little shook for a while. Didn't really go out for about a month. But I saw him 2 weeks ago at a Vikings event, the Miracle at the Met reunion party, and he looks good. So he's doing good.
That's great to hear. And Will, I know you've been on the road for many of these Vikings game. A lot of these, well, pretty much every single game is down to one score. But I know you've also gotten a lot of insight and seeing these players on the sidelines and giving you a little more perspective. What's been your biggest takeaway being a part of this show?
I think with the Vikings part of things, just seeing how Kevin O'Connell has changed the culture of that team. Everybody's rallying behind one another and just believing in themselves more than anything. And now they're 12-3. These same games that we lost last year, we're winning this year. And just seeing how some of these people relate their stories to the show and what it really means to be a part of a locker room with such great chemistry, it could really change how this season goes for some of those teams.
Yeah, and we talk about that chemistry, and we've had such a great chemistry with the three of us doing our shows and the fun that we have and creating commercials and content and all the good sports that have been a part of our show and have been, a success of us. As like I said, you see Lydia over our shoulder. We're going to bring up that up a little bit in the next segment, but we got to pay some more bills, and we'll come back and we'll show you some of the funnier things that have happened on the Geary, Stein, and Stevens. This is the best of Geary, Stein, and Stevens from 2022, getting ready for 2023. And of course, as we said in January, we got a lot more guests and people coming up. So stay with us. I'll try not to mute the microphone next time. Don't go away.
We told you all year long, and now we have to holler. We ruined all our hopes and wrecked on all our hearts. So freshly dressed, that's the sign to go. With hundreds of amazing shirts and places to spend your dough. Oh, freshly dressed, will light your shopping load. And save you more for the check out with the GSS show code. The GSS show code.
Merry Christmas, Pete.
Merry Christmas, Mom.
I think there's one more present for you.
It's a Manscaped package with lotions and sprays and trimmers. And where's the lawnmower? Hey, there's a note. Dear Pete, may you have a Merry Christmas and a smooth New Year. Oh! Shop now at manscaped.com.
Yeah, you can say what you want about those commercials, but I think I'm a little more partial to ours, and we've had a lot of fun poking fun. But again, we wouldn't be here, still kicking and groaning and rolling, if we didn't have our sponsors. So again, thank you to our sponsors that have been a big part of our show, and they're great products. I mean, you've seen how good I look by wearing Manscaped products, and we've taken you to baseball parks and to Philadelphia and all across the country. You can still save 20% by using the GSS show code for manscaped.com. And again, I live by these products. My kids are using them. Everybody's stealing all my stuff. And of course, when I look good in my face, we look good in our body. Troy, Will, and I are also, we've been wearing the Fresh Clean Threads. You get 20% off using the GSS show code for that. And again, thank you to our Fresh Clean Threads folks for sending us more wardrobe update. And of course, as we put on the pounds this winter, we have to, of course, lose that weight. And you got to make sure that you're using Athletic Greens 1. And Athletic Greens 1 is such a great product, as we talked about. It's got 70%, 75 nutrients and minerals and all those good things. And if you order athleticgreens.com with a /GSS, you get free vitamin D for a year. So again, all of our sponsors, we are so thankful for you guys being a part of it. And again, our listeners. And that's the fun of this show. We really do have fun. We've had opportunities to kind of, ambush our guests and show some things that may be less than flattering from time to time, but that's a part of what makes it such a homey show, is you never know what to expect. And I'm wondering, Troy, what have been a couple of your favorite pranks or things that we've done to our guests? We've had on comedians, we've embarrassed Seth Herzog, we've done all kinds of stuff, too numerous to mention, and we'll show a couple in just a minute. But Troy?
Yeah, speaking of Seth Herzog, we brought up some photos from his childhood and a childhood friend of his, who we had on the show later on with Michael Brodsky, with Leon Searcy. Also, John Rocker, you never know what you expect with that guy. He said some things. And even Jack McDowell, he gave us a song and dance there, which I wasn't expecting, so that was fun.
Yeah, it's funny to see these guys in a different light. And I know, Will, you've been chuckling there on the camera. What are some of the funny memories you remember of our show?
So when the Cy Young winner sings Navidad to us. It's like, oh my goodness, do you know this one? Feliz Navidad.
Yeah, that was pretty
Feliz
cool for him
Navidad.
pull that out of there. That was pretty funny to see him be a part of that. And it's just what this show is all about. Will we just have fun, and of course the fun carries over to our guests. And I've got the next segment that we've got. We've got BJ Armstrong, a three-time NBA champion with the Chicago Bulls, and again, he is a big fan of our commercials. And that is followed up by, well, Lydia Cornell, who is also a star from Too Close to Comfort, the famous ABC TV show. And again, people don't think we could have TV stars and movie stars and stuff, but we treat them just like everybody else. And if we can find some embarrassing things, we bring it up. BJ, speaking of commercials, I think I remember I've got one up my sleeve for you.
Oh.
Do you remember you and Dan Marley putting this thing together? So we're watching a Lego commercial. I find Egos offensive because I have no Legos, but do you remember doing that thing?
Yeah, I do remember doing this.
Well, that must have been fun. I mean, not many guys get to have commercials like that. So I had to put you on the spot a little bit. You've been such a good sport.
I know. It's so embarrassing. My colleagues at work, they pull this stuff up. My kids see it. My wife sees it. She goes, "What were you thinking?" Like, I don't know.
Did you guys just look at each other and go? I mean, there's no real reference to the NBA. You can't wear logos. You can't.
I know. It's just the things we do, So hey, I'm part of the show. It's show business, right? So that's part of it. But if it makes you laugh, and everyone has made fun of me, so it's been a good commercial. Real quick story about that commercial. I hadn't seen that commercial like in 20 something years, and someone sent it to me, and I reposted it here on my Twitter feed or something. And whatever it was, the Egos, is it whatever it is, the Legos or Lego my ego or something, whatever it is, Egos. They reposted it, and it was like the funniest thing. It's like they're still following that commercial. So, shout out to Egos. Maybe Dan and I could do a follow up. With that.
Yeah, is there a high fiber version now for us old people that has a lot? The Metamucil Egos, right?
I don't think anybody can jump in the air. I couldn't even land. Like looking at that landing, my knees are hurting right there. But no, it would be a high fiber one. That would be really funny.
Because since this is somewhat of a sports-based show, of course, I've got to bring out some sports. And of course, we'd have to, I got to bring out, I think it was your appearance, I think it was season 11 of Battle of the Network Stars. I'm sorry about the quality, but here's Howard Cosell talking about you and like you're an athlete, and then all the people there to see the people you work with. But then your moment was getting in this, and you had the lead, and then suddenly something happened where you just figured out you were going to go in the other lanes, and you went from worst to first. Luckily, didn't matter about in the ratings because you had 25 million viewers watching you. But what was like that? To be a part of those fun things where you got Robert Conrad and all these people taking it serious, and them expecting you to catch footballs and be athletes. I mean, it was crazy.
Can you hear me laughing? Oh my God!
Yes.
I have never been so embarrassed in my life. It was the most.
You have your clothes on. Your clothes are on, right? So it's okay.
That was the most. Okay, Howard Cosell never gave up. Cornell cannot turn the kayak around. Cornell. It was the most humiliating day of my life. And William Shatner was the team captain. He just stood there. He wouldn't get wet. And Joan Collins from Dynasty, she wouldn't get wet. So Heather Thomas and I had to do all the water sports and get dunked. And oh my God, it was so embarrassing.
just part of the fun that we've had over the last 8 months of 2020. When did we start this thing, Troy? When did we kick things off? Like May or something? I'm trying
Yeah,
to.
May. Yeah, you came in, I think, in May.
Yeah, and we started off with notice you didn't see any highlights of John Rocker because we would have had to bleep every other word. He was quite colorful during his show and had a lot of information. If you haven't seen it, go back on our YouTube page and check out some accusations of steroid use by some Hall of Famers and things like that. So, but that's just been some of the amazing things that we've had over the year, and I pinch myself sometimes when I think about what we're seeing, and as far as compared to other podcasts and shows, the quality of guys that Will and myself and Troy have brought in. It's not your everyday thing, and I'm kind of proud of what we're doing. So keep up the good work, boys. I'm thoroughly enjoying this.
Yeah, me too, David. It's been a blast.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. So we have to pay a couple more bills, so we're gonna come back and wrap up this show, have a little fun with our ending, and tell you what's going on in the future, and pay tribute to a Hall of Fame legend that just recently passed away. So don't go away.
Hi again, everybody. Dave Stevens from the Gary Stein and Stevens Show for Manscaped here at the home of the Philadelphia Eagles. And why am I on the turf? Well, because Manscaped really helps us groom that turf. The stuff down below, when you use all the Manscaped products, all the amazing Manscaped products that they have to groom, to shave, to keep clean, to smell good, with the shampoos, the conditioners, the deodorants, the lip balm, all of the great stuff. Manscaped has great products, not only for down below, but for all of the stuff up above, too. And if you go to the website, manscaped.com, and type in the show code GSS Show, you get 20% off of your order, and you'll be able to have the best grooming materials that money can buy. So I use the Manscaped products every time I'm at a professional sporting event, and it makes me look great to get great locker room interviews, and of course, to continue to use the great Manscaped products. That's manscaped.com. Type in the show code GSS Show for 20% off. You'll look good. I look good. I smell good because I use Manscaped.
Of course, we've told you about this new opportunity to watch the Gary Stein and Stevens Show on TV. You can watch it on your home TV. You just type that in on your laptop or your computer or your smart TV, and you can watch the best of our shows just like we've been showing you all night long. Catch up with Linda Cohn and Lee Steinberg and what Will has been doing and where Troy is stuck in the snow the other day. He had to actually send in his questions because he couldn't get home, just like much other of the other people that were traveling in the Midwest. But tune into yourhometv.com. The quality is great, and of course, the show is great because it's Gary Stein and Stevens. Even my buddies that are in Miami, Florida, you can see them in the background watching this. So again, Gary Stein and Stevens on your podcasts, on your TV, it's everywhere. And getting back to that last segment of all the fun, it was really neat to see the stars that they tweet our stuff, they share stuff. Lydia Cornell basically got a huge following from sports fans and her fans to see a side of her that they hadn't seen before. So that was great to have her do those kind of things, and it's been really awesome. From my perspective, Troy, to see these celebrities kind of giving us our kudos as well.
Yeah, it's always great to have them kind of they share our stuff and have fun with us, and we've had all kinds of crazy guests and celebrities and athletes, and it's just been a fun time.
And I know we get accused of being a little Midwest biased, but we all have our ties to Minnesota. But hey, who cares? It's our show, and we can do what we want. And I know, Will, you've talked to some guys that may be coming on. What do they say about the show when they see what we do and realize that we're not just Wayne's World?
So when they see some of the stuff that we've been a part of already, they're like, "Oh my goodness, this is more organized than I thought it was going to be." We're just guys having a good time trying to show what people are like outside of the field. For example, there's many, from Trey Waynes to Joy Browner to many other Jack McDowell singing on the guitar. There's many people that it's just a genuine show with all of us sharing what we do on a regular basis, and I think it's a great thing to be a part of.
Yeah, it really has, and I appreciate you guys bringing me into this and letting me be a part of your world and actually helping contribute to everybody else and the motivations that we do. Troy, you brought it up a little earlier, having BJ Ganem, a wounded veteran who lost a leg, that has created Veterans Bowl 1, which we'll be a part of at the Super Bowl, and all these amazing things that again, it's just three guys, on laptops and cameras and cell phones and making calls and follow up with emails and sometimes stalking people until we get Burt Blyleven or BJ Armstrong or Lydia Cornell. And once they do it, they realize, hey, this is fun, and word gets out that we do have fun. And I wanted to bring up something that wasn't a part of our show, but was a part of my world during COVID, and that was the opportunity to talk to Franco Harris a couple of years ago when I started doing my own little podcast, just out of my own, basement at my house. I got Rocky Blyer and Franco Harris to come on to talk a little bit about their life together, and I just wanted to bring that up, and we wanted to talk about Franco after this next segment. But this was a rare opportunity just to show you the class that Franco Harris would jump on somebody's little podcast. And this is one of the greatest running backs in the history of football. Do you ever get tired of talking about those teams and that dynasty and everything that you guys kind of represented?
Hey, you know what? I love my teammates. Great guys, great people. We had, I guess I'm going to take the liberty of saying that I think we had the greatest run in NFL history. It was incredible. And the 70s run, I think, set a benchmark for a lot to follow.
But anyways, it's great to be able to get together like this.
Yeah, Dave, you were talking about Rocky's story. It is an incredible story, and but it just goes to show you, even though the challenges we face, the perseverance and hard work, and makes a difference. And also, Rocky, I was telling him that we had a pretty good team back then too.
Pretty good team. You better believe it was a pretty good team. It was a damn good team with all the players that we had and the characters we had on the team, and how it meshed together. And then and you think about it. So we talk about the dynasty. We talk about the 70s and the Immaculate Reception and the turning point of the Steelers and a belief system and guys coming together. But as we look back, it's great to be able to say that we were the best that kind of did it.
Rocky, if you think about it, how certain things make certain things happen, because as you said, in 1974, things weren't going that well. Things were kind of sputtering, and like when I came back, the decision by, I think it was Dick Hoke, or was the other coaches, or Dick Hoke, to try us both together in the backfield, right?
Right. Yeah. So anyway, so as I heard that story, it was basically Chuck Noll had talked to Dick, or in their conversation, and said that there was a weakness in their backfield. And the weakness was he said, "Who's your best blocker?" And they said, "Well, Blyer." And he said, "Well, then start him."
Wait. When they asked that question, who's the best blocker, they didn't include.
Well, actually, they said, "Who's your best runner?" But I didn't. Since you're on this program, and I didn't want to take that away from you, so I put best blocker in there because people would understand that.
Ego of Terry and you guys taking all the balls and not getting any passes downfield for that guy whose ego sometimes people like to talk about and tease. But I mean, what was that like when you guys knew that either one of you was going to carry the ball almost every single play?
Well, both Franco and I argued who was going to get the ball, and he won out most of the time. No, you talk to Bradshaw. You talk to Bradshaw and he'll go, "Oh, no, no, no." He said, "I was for, I asked, what do you guys wanted to run? What did you want to run? What did you want to run? What pass did you?" So we got the Stallworth and Swan saying, "Well, throw me the ball, throw me the ball." Frank will say, "Well, give me the ball, give me the ball." Well, I'll block for Frank then. So give him the ball. So
Well, like me and Rocky, I guess we still argue who had the best catch, though. You know what I mean? So
there is no argument. You got the best. You got the best catch, as it was voted for the number one play in the 50 years of football history. Yes.
I don't know, Rocky. You had a hell of a catch.
Just sad to see that and to realize what an amazing guy Franco was to again be on the show a couple of years ago and again to tragically die the day 2 days before the anniversary, the 50th anniversary of the Immaculate Reception, his number getting retired, and I know you guys are diehard football fans, so my question is what took so long for them to retire Franco Harris's number? Did no one ever seem to bring that up during this whole entire discussion? Troy?
Yeah, I don't understand why it took so long. I mean, I met him 4 years ago, I think, at one of the Super Bowls for the parties, and just larger than life guy. Very just down to earth, nice. One of the best athletes I've met in my lifetime. So I don't know why he wasn't in the Hall of Fame, but everybody needs to check out the NFL Network Football Life on him. Came out like you said on the day of the Immaculate Reception 50 years ago.
Yeah, it was just tragic. And Will, I know the history against the Vikings is people hate the Steelers, but I always loved Franco as a kid, and you got to pull for them. I mean, that play turned the NFL around and basically made it America's game.
So that play, everybody talks about that to this day. When I saw Franco at the Hall of Fame in the summer of 2021, he just seemed like he enjoyed being around everybody. He took the extra effort to get to know you, take some time to talk to you, and he was just genuinely a good person to be around. And I enjoyed the time that I've had with him, and the fact that the impact that he had on football history is going to be around for the rest of our lives, even after we pass away too. But the fact that he took his time just to talk to me, and I was just I was just embracing the fact that I was in football heaven, and here he is. It's like, "Hey, Franco." He's like, "Hey, how are you?" We talked for about 5-10 minutes, and then we took a picture, and then we went on our ways.
Yeah, he's genuinely when people talk about good guys in the league, he was, and it was tragic. And I know we did have Rocky Blyer on earlier in the season as well to talk about the Immaculate Reception, and he was supposed to come on, but he was so torn up that he still hasn't been able to come on to address that. But I just wanted to throw that out there so you could see he lowered himself to come on some rinky-dink podcast that I was doing 2 years ago. This thing is much bigger that we're doing, but I'm so glad to be a part of it with you guys. And as we wrap up our final thoughts, Troy, what's this year been like for you for being a part of this show?
Well, if you would have told me back when we started this in March that we'd end the year with all these guests, be on a radio row in a couple of months, I would have said you're crazy. So I'm just like I said, enjoying the ride. Love having you guys with the ride with me, and looking forward to a great 2023.
And Will, I know sometimes your schedule dictates you from not being a part of what we're doing, but you get in when you can, you contribute, and I want to know what your thoughts are going into 2023.
So the the growth that's possible with all three of us, it's only going to get better going forward. When Troy approached me with the idea right after the Super Bowl, the worst thing that I could say is I look like a fool in front of some people on the internet, and then all of a sudden it's grown the way it has, and I couldn't be more prouder than the work that all three of us have done together. And I think it's only going to get better as time goes on. And with the Super Bowl coming up this year, being on Radio Row, it's almost like all three of us are living a dream come true, being around all these people all the time, and just like they're our
Yeah.
best friends that we've known since childhood.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity to teach and grow and give you some insights, but also what we're giving the fans and the non-fans as we can cover sports, we can cover entertainment, and we can cover music. And as we head out, I want to say thank you again to all of our sponsors for Manscaped, Athletic Greens, Fresh Clean Threads, and of course Pro Stance, who's going to be sponsoring my first ever Ability Football Camp, February 4th. More details to come on that, taking place in Glendale, Arizona, right across the street from where Super Bowl 57 will be taking place. And as we mentioned, we've had musical guests on, not just Jack McDowell, but earlier this year, we had Madison Ward from Madison Ward and Mama Bear come on, talk about music, and play a little tune. So as we leave you with the best of Gary Stein and Stevens, we'll leave you with the best music from Gary Stein and Stevens. This is Madison Ward. Take care, everybody. Thank you for supporting us. We love you, and we'll see you soon.
I never play this, but I was
All
just thinking about it recently.
An exclusive. Here we go.
But I'm singing very quietly because these are on laptop mics. Here we go.
You're okay.
Burn, 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 Birmingham is where she said she was from, that's no lie. Barbados is where she flew to and stopped on a dime. Where she flew to and stopped on a dime. Farming was tough and they had about enough till they saw what the child could do. She had a skill Gandhi would kill for the secrets on how it all grew. For the secrets on how it all grew. She said, bury your seeds, hide them in deep. We've got some digging to do. Bury your seeds, hide them in deep. We've got some digging to do. August came, it was the most fruitful year they had seen.